Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by The Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moffitt Entertainment. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations and has been recognized by the Sioux Falls Stage Awards with a special distinction for promoting the arts. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach Dresch. Well done as always. Thank you, everyone, listening to more Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. Their Bodkins Theatre begins their run of Shakespeare in Falls Park tonight. This year, they present The Tempest. We'll hear from Artistic Director Jayne Gearhart Fitzsimmons about performing theater outside. Then later in the show, local singer-songwriter Matt D. normally plays solo. Tomorrow night, he has a full band all set to go for First Friday at 8th and Railroad. But first,
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day in your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
oh my, lift 'em high. I actually was able to lift one over the weekend in celebration. Because this weekend's Weekend Eve toast goes out to luck. Obviously, good luck, which I finally had. Miss Carries and I were headed out to a birthday party on Saturday night, and, well, gosh darn it, on the way was Chasers. So we stopped at Chasers and had a couple cool ones. And you know those little shake of the day deals? By God, somebody actually does win them from time to time. Somebody won one on Friday night. Yeah. A nice big pot. But you know what they do there is they take 20% out of that. They keep it at the bar to start up the new run then of another shake of the day. So here they'd gone all this time without a winner. They had one Friday night, and then yours truly picked up $662 at Chasers on the Shake of the Day on Saturday afternoon. Woo-hoo-hoo! Lucky me. So, luck, here's to you. That provides many Jasper Newtons, Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime. The Weekend Eve Toast has been brought to you by Ale Hop Brewery Tours. People are talking about how great it is using Ale Hop on their Facebook page. Here's what Tina had to say. Super fun and convenient. You can go out, have a good time with friends, and not have to worry about driving home, that's for sure. And best of all, I love what Tina says here, it supports our locals. No matter what brewery in Sioux Falls is your favorite, Ale Hop Brewery Tours lets you and your friends choose any or all of the local breweries, plus a distillery. Book your private tours online at alehopbrewerytours.com. But if you're already out and about on a weekend, they have some public tours. For more info about those, call 605-777-2183. That is 605-777-2183. Ale Hop Brewery Tours, where micro fans meet micro brews. Honorable mention. Held you in suspense there for a while before I played the sounder, didn't I? All right. Honorable mention for those of you who may be listening for the first time. It is not something that is just simply you came in fourth place because, you didn't medal, you didn't get a ribbon, something along that line. No. We mean it. Honorable mention. We always like to give out a shout out. Something that in the past week has made my day, made me laugh, giggle, guffaw, maybe cry, a little tear of joy or something. In other words, it's just fun stuff. Well, this week, the honorable mention going out to Kids in Theater. Last Friday, Old Town Dinner Theater. Well, they did it on Saturday too, but the night that my wife and I attended was on a Friday evening at Old Town Dinner Theater. Kids Camp Production, Lion King Jr. It was awesome. Mighty Course and Arts players, Peggy the Pint-Sized Pirate was the week before. Premier Playhouse had Mary Poppins Jr. And while I didn't make it to those last two, I can guarantee you, knowing the people that were in charge of those, that it was amazing because they all love theater. It's their passion, and they provide such great opportunities for all the kids in all of the arts and entertainment camps that take place throughout the summer. Bravo, bravo, bravo for all the kids, all the volunteers, all the moms and dads, grandparents, and so forth that take the time to let their kids be a part of that as well. All right, coming up later in the show, Matt D. talks about having a full band for tomorrow night's First Friday gig. Up next from Bodkins Theatre, Artistic Director Jayne Gearhart Fitzsimmons on the Dave Holly Hour.
Hi, my name is Jesse Moffett, and I'm not a piano player. I'm a comic magician and hypnotist. I've been performing for over 20 years. I've performed at many events, corporate events, holiday parties, post-prom parties, graduation parties, state and county fairs, festivals, just about anything you can imagine. The funniest thing about the Magic Act is that I use a ton of audience participation, and that can make things really interesting. Put it down the front of your shirt. Stop being so, my hand won't follow it. The best thing about the hypnosis show is that the volunteers and their imaginations really make it a blast.
Holy crap, dude, did you see what you just did? You could do that possibly to girls.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffett Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
He's a bit flirtatious, but most of all, fun. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Fun and ready to say, as per usual, for an interview that we're doing about Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment, to say it is always a pleasure to bring back favorite guests, and especially when you've known her since her childhood. Jayne Gearhart Fitzsimmons, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I figured you would be. You typically are. And you have your Bodkins group in rehearsals right now. Mm-hmm. And on Thursday night, it's time to get out and play at the park.
It is.
Actually, you've had some rehearsals at the park now, haven't you?
We have. Yep. Yeah. We've moved outdoors, so we are in the last little bit of our rehearsal phase. And yeah, that means that we're outside now all of the time. So we will be out at the park doing our dress rehearsals in the beautiful ruins of the Queen Bee Mill for the next couple nights. And then we open on the 30th. Excellent.
Looking forward to it. In fact, we're ready for opening night ourselves.
Yay.
That's the night that we plan on being there. And how do we... what's the ticket situation? I always have to remember that it's free, correct?
Yes, it is.
But
always
you
free.
Still kind of need to make room for yourself.
Yeah, we have like a little system, but it's pretty slick. It's pretty easy. So our performances all happen, as I just mentioned, in the ruins of the Queen Bee Mill at Falls Park. And so an hour before the show at 6 o'clock, we begin handing out free tickets for the show. That way we just kind of know where we're at in terms of capacity. And then, once you have your ticket, you're welcome to explore the park, go grab some ice cream, use the restroom, things like that. And then we open the gates at 6:30 for seating. And we ask all of our audience members to bring their own chair this year. That seemed to work really well last year. Everybody could watch the show in comfort. So bring a chair, bring a blanket, come and get comfy. And then we start the show at 7.
All right. Looking forward to it as always. And what's fun about this is having known that you kind of came up in this via your college ranks because we had some old mutual friends that started the Bodkins here.
Yeah.
And then you took it over once they left town. Mm-hmm. You bought it from them, and
yes.
it seems to be going great. And before we get a lot deeper into actually talking about that, let's talk about this year's show.
Great.
What do we have going on?
This year, we have one of my very favorite Shakespeare plays, The Tempest. This is a play that has something for everyone. It is considered one of Shakespeare's late romances. So if you like tragedy and you like comedy, you are in luck because this blends the two in this like beautiful kind of fairy tale-like story about a mystical island and a sorcerer and a shipwreck. And so this really has something for everyone. Comedy, action, romance. It's got it all.
What is it about Shakespeare that continues to enthrall audiences several centuries later?
I think it's just how his work speaks to every moment, right? So there's just beautiful language, there's wonderful characters, it's engaging, there's a lot of variety in Shakespeare's plays, and so I think there's just still so much to love about these works.
Are we going to see some similar things that we have in the past with Bear Bodkins, multiple parts, cross-gendering of parts and so forth?
Yeah, so we are using our kind of trademark style. We're really interested in original practice Shakespeare, which means that we think a lot about how Shakespeare was presented in his own time, which means that we do our works outdoors under the open sky, like in the Globe Theatre. We use a small company of actors that uses a really short rehearsal period to prepare the play, and they're playing all of the roles. So this year we have 7 really excellent actors that are doubling to play all of the roles in the cast, and we also use really kind of bare bones set and costume pieces so the audience can use their imagination to help us bring the story to life.
Any audience participation in this one?
You know there's always audience participation, but nothing scary if you're like listening and you're like, oh no. No, it's fun audience participation. It's folks, so the audience, for instance, this year is going to help us create The Tempest. Okay. So that's an exciting thing. And we have some surprises and fun things for the audience to help us with throughout the show too.
Excellent. Always such fun. Okay, now let's talk about Bear Bodkins.
Yeah.
And how you got this started from Ivan Fuller and Becky. It was just fantastic people anyway.
Yeah.
That got that started. What made you say to yourself, I'd really like to take this on as a venture besides being a college professor?
Yeah. So, it's really, I have a lot of fond memories thinking about my time at Bear Bodkins because I've been with this company since 2006, which is wild to think about. But I joined as an assistant director my first year working with Bear Bodkins. I acted, I directed productions. And so as I became a kind of a fixture company member, it became so clear that this was just really where my heart is. I have always loved Shakespeare ever since I was a kid. I had wonderful teachers and wonderful parents who really supported that. And so this is, I knew that I really, really wanted to work with Shakespeare's work. And this company just gave me such a nice home and a way to do that. And I knew that when the opportunity arose for me to take on the role of artistic director, that I could bring a lot of my own skills and a lot of my own ideas and creativity to take Bear Bodkins into its next phase. So that was 10 years ago, which is why this year is really special. This is my 10th year as the artistic director. This is our 25th anniversary as a company.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so my first year as the artistic director, we did The Tempest, which is why we're bringing it back this year, as we kind of like those kind of circular moments in Bear Bodkins history. So yeah, it's been really fun to revisit this script because it's just such a special story and special to our history as a company.
So how many works are there out there yet of Shakespeare that Bear Bodkins hasn't done?
Oh my gosh, I have not counted, but there are some. And we really try to bring a variety. We've done a lot of comedies lately, and of course we're doing one of the romances this year. So I think next year we're due a tragedy. But yeah, we really try and kind of mix it up. But there are some that we really like to revisit, kind of on a 10-year cycle. So Macbeth is one of those. That was the kind of first show that Bear Bodkins did. So we tend to bring that back every 10 years or so. But yeah.
Yeah, make sure that you get the hits in there all the time, right?
Yes, we love the hits, but we love the weird stuff too.
Oh, true. Well, and I think that's another, we talked a little bit about what enthralls audiences about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Is that it's such a vast body of work.
It sure is, yeah.
And you think of, not only the plays that he wrote, but everything else that he authored too. It's just a phenomenal amount of work that he had. Yeah. And I guess it's just so interesting to see, you're going to have the great playwrights of all time and so forth. But when you talk about the Bard, that's like this whole different level.
Yeah.
And there's such a respect amongst everybody in theater for Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You go back and think of the great comedian Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have? Shakespeare background. And so many that have done that. And I think the resurgence right now of Broadway and seeing so many people that have already made their fame in the movies wanting to get back to Broadway and be on stage.
Yeah.
What was the thrill of it for you to be on stage, and then translate that over as to how it made you become a great director?
Well, I really loved the immediacy of performing in front of an audience, and especially an audience like we get at Bear Bodkins, where everybody's just really in it. We all see each other. It's not like you go into the theater and the house lights dim and you're kind of alone as a viewer. As an audience at the Mill, it's like you're part of a collective body. You're part of the show. And so that energy and that vibe from the audience is just, there's nothing like it. It's so exciting. And I think theater and live performance is such a key way of communicating about thoughts and ideas. And as a performer, it can be really intoxicating and it can be so fun. And so that's really what drew me to it. But really, as an artist, I consider directing my primary passion. That's something that I've really come to know and love over the years in my training. And part of why I love directing is because I get to work with fantastic people to collectively bring a performance to life. And that's one of my favorite things about working with our Bear Bodkins casts, is that they're so creative, they're versatile, and they're really helping build the production collaboratively as we go. So it's not just me making decisions about the show. We're really like a collaborative group. And yeah, it's just really, really exciting to see what they do and what they bring to it. And I love working with the text, and I love adapting the script every year. And so, yeah, for me, directing has just become such a wonderful artistic home.
That's something we've talked about in the past, is adapting the script, because Shakespeare was not known necessarily for brevity.
No.
But you still get it in a good time frame that a family can come enjoy this.
Yes.
So how about with the Tempest, what type of work did you have to do to get this one down to an acceptable level?
Yeah, so something that is really important to Bear Bodkins and to me as a director is to really make Shakespeare accessible for anyone who wants to come and enjoy it. And that's one of the reasons why I really love our partnership with the city of Sioux Falls, is because we can offer free Shakespeare. We can offer free tickets. People can come. They can try it out. And part of that, like you said, is making sure that we're kind of coming in a certain time frame where audiences can come and enjoy Shakespeare that's real Shakespeare, that's actually Shakespeare's words, in about a 90-minute time period. So for this script, this was for me, one of the easiest ones to kind of work with and kind of wrangle into that time frame, because it's so beautifully crafted. And it's so expertly, no surprise, it's Shakespeare's work, but some of his plays can, kind of have a lot of loose ends, or they, kind of resolve kind of in odd ways. And so this one is just so expertly crafted that working with it and making the adaptation was a pleasure.
So you have been a Shakespeare fan for a long time. Mm-hmm. Tell us things that the average person doesn't know about Shakespeare, the person.
Oh.
Because you obviously studied not just everything he wrote, but you studied him.
Yeah.
What was it that made him tick?
This is a great question. And one of my favorite things about Shakespeare, and this is maybe going to seem kind of counterproductive to your question, but one of my very favorite things about Shakespeare is there's so much about him that we don't know.
Right.
And something that I think surprises people, because he's so much a part of our culture and he's so much part of our literary canon and our dramatic canon, is we think we really know who he is. But in reality, there's a lot of mystery surrounding Shakespeare and his life, and what he was doing, and where he was, and his relationships. And so I think that's something that's really exciting to me, because I love a mystery. And it's okay with me to have these kind of open-ended kind of questions that linger. That's one of the reasons why I think I really like his work, but it's also one of the reasons why I love theater history, is because there are things we know and there are things we don't, and I almost like the things we don't know better.
Tonight on Dateline, Shakespeare in the Park, huh?
Mystery.
Have you ever thought of writing about Shakespeare?
That's a good question. I'm intrigued by him. I think that, my kind of artistic battery has been taken up in different ways than that type of writing project. But I never say never.
The college spirit, right?
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, loaded question time. Where did you get your undergraduate work?
I did my undergraduate degree at Southwest Minnesota State University.
Mustangs
in
for
Marshall.
life.
Go Mustangs.
I was there many years before. I do believe we had at least one professor in common, though.
Oh.
Ray Oster?
Yes.
Yes.
A delight. One of my favorite people on this planet.
Absolutely great. Yeah, because, at Southwest, you had to take theater as one of the curriculum's core classes and so forth. And I was in a one-act, well, I shouldn't say a one-act, but it was a shortened down version of Mr. Roberts that we did for the class. And when I went in to get my semester grade, he says, "You ever thought about being on the stage?" But always enjoyed everything that I learned there in the communicative arts as well as the visual and performing arts. And just always love to see how things come about, and then love to see where people end up. Yeah. And, it's so fun to see you in this area, having known you for so long and your family. And just to see that, yes, jobs are available in theater.
Yeah.
And you happen to have one of the best ones because you work at Augie. What a great place to be involved in a theater department. So what is it that because I know that you do teach Shakespeare as well. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you have to convey to people that might be pretty, entry-level Shakespeare?
Yeah.
What is it that you have to say? Because I'm guessing, first of all, most of them will go, "Oh, I don't understand this. How do you read this?" Because it takes a little time to get that pattern down.
It sure does. It takes getting used to. And just like anything that's worth doing, it takes practice.
Yeah.
And something that I always hope to convey to people who are experiencing Shakespeare for the first time, whether it's as an audience member or as a student or as an actor or theater practitioner or reader, is that Shakespeare was made for everybody. He was writing for every strata of society when he was bringing his works to the stage, because that's who was in his audience. And so that's something that I think can help kind of alleviate that burden, that it's like, oh, Shakespeare is too cerebral for me, or too heady, or, things like that. Shakespeare was writing for you and me. And so I think that's kind of my number one thing that I hope kind of like opens the door into Shakespeare, but also just that it takes time, and that, I have multiple degrees in this, and sometimes there are things where I'm like, I really need to look that up, or like, I wonder. And that Shakespeare is rich. It's a rich text. I could read it. I could read the Tempest today and have one experience with it. I can read it in 2 years and have another. I could read it at the end of my life and have another, right? And so there's a lot of like really beautiful richness in the text. There's all sorts of clues for actors and audience members and readers to enjoy. And so I always just hope that people who are experiencing Shakespeare for the first time can enjoy that journey.
And they get the opportunity to do that here with Shakespeare in the Park, or Bear Bodkins is the official title of the theater group that you work with, and that you happen to be the chief cook, bottle wash, and everything else for. But I guess I kind of wanted to ask that previous question to kind of tie back to that notion then, that as you look at this, and it is something that is put on by the Sioux Falls Parks and Rec Department, are you hoping to draw people into Shakespeare, or are you seeing that this is another vehicle that Shakespeare fans can enjoy, or is it a little bit of everything?
I think it's both. Anyone who wants to come and have an experience with Shakespeare, and come and have an experience in nature, in one of the most beautiful parks in our city, in one of the most beautiful theaters in the world, I think, the Queen Bee Mill, that's who we want to come. And we want people who have experience with Shakespeare. We want people who just kind of wander up and go, oh, like, what's going on here tonight, right? and that's beautiful. That's one of the reasons why our audiences are so exciting, is because it's a wonderful blend of people. And I think that's really made possible by the fact that this is one of the Arts in the Parks offerings.
And the nice thing about it is you can't nail down a demographic on this.
No.
Because you've got grandparents down to grandchildren.
Yep.
Coming as families and so forth. So it's great to see that if no other thing, that a child gets to see live entertainment, live theater,
Yeah.
and get to maybe have at least something in their background that says, oh, I remember going to that when I was a kid, and then maybe pick up on it later, and maybe they become one of your students at Augie,
Yeah.
and maybe they get into your group as part of Bear Bodkins eventually.
Yeah.
But when you decide, because you still have just traditional open auditions, or when you go into a new play each year, are you already thinking, boy, I think so-and-so would be great here, but still just open auditions for anything?
Yeah, so we have some company members that are like long-standing that have been with us forever.
Standards, yeah.
So, for instance, Nadine Purvis-Schmidt, who plays Prospero, and who is a professor at Southwest Minnesota State University, she has been with our company for 9 years, 9 of the past 10 seasons, and is just wonderful to work with. And so when we're thinking about a show like The Tempest that really has a specific casting need with a character like Prospero, who is this kind of sorcerer character, and he's kind of in this kind of big deal character in the play and in Shakespeare's canon, we knew that we needed someone like Nadine to come in and of course she's reprising the role from the last time we did this 10 years ago, which is really exciting. But so we might have some of that. It's kind of a combination where it's like, okay, we have a couple of folks who are cast, especially in a show like this that has that type of need, but then the rest of our company has open auditions. And so the past couple of years we've done virtual auditions, which has been great. And who knows, I mean, that's maybe something that will continue in the future, but we get a lot of really wonderful people from all across the community auditioning for our shows.
That's excellent. Yeah, because sometimes you think, okay, it's a small group, and everybody's kind of tight in it and so forth. But it is good to know that anybody that first of all wants to go see it can do so. Anybody that wants to be a part of it can audition.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't do it this year, but they go and they watch the show and go, I would really like to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll see them. Do you say on the stage when it comes to performing outdoors, or do you just say on the grass?
On the grass works. Yeah, we're on the grass. At the stage, yes.
Well, true. Well, he's the one that said it. All the world is a stage.
All the world.
So we have that. But when you talk to people and tell them they've got a part in this, what's typical reaction?
Oh, excitement. Sometimes with actors, it's so fun. I mean, because again, like we've been really, really lucky and we've had wonderful actors over the years. And this year's company is no different, where they just cannot wait to dive into the play and kind of figure out, start playing with their roles, start playing with their characters, because like we talked about, every actor, with a few exceptions this year, like Prospero, Nadine just plays Prospero because that role is really beefy. But all the other actors play multiple roles. And so that's something that I know can kind of cause a little trepidation at first sometimes for actors, who are like, okay, how are we going to do this? But again, that collaborative process is there to support them the whole way through. And so it's just a ton of fun, and that excitement is just palpable throughout the entire process. So,
well, I would think that with Nadine on board as part of a cast member, that you also, besides getting an actor, a great quality actor, you are also getting a bit of a team leader.
Oh yeah.
In that case too, that here's somebody that knows these roles, reprising in this case, and can help others too, that maybe it's their first time in Bear Bodkins.
We have such a wonderful range of experience. We have folks like Nadine Schmidt, and we have Jeff Larson, who have been with our company for a long time. And then we have folks who are doing this for the first time this year. We have 2 actors who are making their Bear Bodkins debut. That's hard to say. And so this is a really nice thing where it's like we have folks that kind of raise the bar and also provide that leadership and provide that kind of extra collaborative boost. And that means that, anyone in our company who's coming in, whether they've done it for many years or for the first time, it's just a really nice collaborative group with a wonderful spirit.
25 years for Bear Bodkins itself. Your 10th.
Yes.
And you said that, one of the things that got you into it was you wanted to see how it was going to be in the next stages and so forth. What do you see ahead of it now after already having a decade in, being involved in it longer than that even?
Yeah. Something that I really love is just this, kind of company that we've built. Folks who come back to us year after year or take a little break and then come back. And we've built this like really wonderful family of actors, people who love Shakespeare and want to talk about Shakespeare and do Shakespeare and think about him. And so, that's something that I'm really proud of, is that we have folks at this point all over the world who are Bear Bodkins alum that like still care about the company or invested in what we do. But also I think that we're continuing to provide what to me is a really important service to the community, which is free theater, free Shakespeare, and getting people involved that way. So just like we have this community of actors that have been part of Bear Bodkins and on our history, we also have the whole community that has joined us and supported us for 25 years. And that's something that's really powerful and wonderful. And that's what I would like to see grow in the next, in the next phase of our company is to just keep building that wonderful community and keep doing theater in a place that we love here in Sioux Falls.
All right. So Thursday night is the opening night, and how long have rehearsals been taking place?
We started in June, at the beginning of June.
Okay.
So
because you said that part of that was just the fact that it was a short rehearsal time in Shakespeare's day as well.
Yeah, it uses the actors' time wisely and well. It keeps things snappy. I think it keeps us in a really nice kind of trajectory toward the show. So yeah, we've just been working the month of June toward our opening on the 30th.
All right. So again, the nights and the times.
Yeah. So we are at the Queen Bee Mill at Falls Park, June 30th through July 3rd. And then we're back again July 7th through the 10th. And we start handing out free tickets at 6 o'clock. Our doors open at 6:30 and the show begins at 7. And it's a 90-minute Shakespearean romp.
And as long as Mother Nature holds out, everything goes great.
Yes, we were hoping for weather just like today. We've had the most beautiful weekend.
Amazing, that's for sure. And not like last weekend.
No. But whatever the weather, we're there, unless it's rain.
The two favorite questions I always like to finish up with, and you've heard these a couple of times, so you should be familiar with them. But, our lives change. And so maybe some of the other things do too. And question one sometimes answers question two, but we start off with, when you're not part of the entertainment world, what do you like to be entertained by?
Oh, that's a great question. I love our Sioux Falls art scene. We are so lucky. We have just such wonderful performers, wonderful groups here. So I really am interested to see what Headlights Theater is doing this summer. It's going to be great. We love going out to the Levitt. There's so many wonderful concerts to enjoy. And another thing that's cool this summer I'm excited about is Monstrous Little Theater Company is doing a play reading series at the public libraries. And so I cannot wait for next month and to see what they're going to be doing.
That, and let's see, another good one. Saturday, July 30th at the premiere. It's all the locally written one-acts.
Yes, and I'm going to be there watching and commenting on those plays for the playwrights.
Well,
so
excellent. I know that there's one that some old guy with a white beard is reading a part for. So
fantastic.
Be light on him. All right. So then the follow-up question: any other hobbies?
Oh my gosh. Well, in the summer, I love being out in the garden. And we're really lucky to have a beautiful yard with lots of wildlife. And so that's what I do with a lot of my summer. Hang out with the dogs. I'm a big reader. And so, yeah, that's going to be hopefully my kind of summer vacation plans.
How many books do you read a week?
A week, probably 4 or 5.
Wow. I'm usually happy about now that I've got 4 or 5 under the belt for the year.
Yeah, no, that's great too.
But 4 or 5
any reading is good reading.
That's true.
Is good reading.
Yep.
Yes.
Whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetry, prose, whatever, it's worth it.
All
Reading
of it.
is fundamental.
It sure is.
All right. Jayne Gearhart Fitzsimmons, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, welcome back to yet another exciting time of the Dave Holly Hour, because you know what I'm going to start saying right off the bat. It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. It's always a pleasure to have new guests on, but this gentleman's been on a few times. Matt D., how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It truly is a pleasure every time.
Oh, thank you.
And it's always so interesting to talk to you because you are one of the nicest guys I know.
Oh, gosh.
And then when it comes to your songwriting,
yeah,
we go a little dark.
That's when it all goes south, when I start singing. Right?
Well, some of the themes are Southern related.
They are.
Yeah, a little bit. But badass American ballads is what you really are all about.
Yeah, like the Bad Man Ballads and the Hard Luck Americana. Yeah, I keep it pretty deadly, Dave.
That you do. You know, and you got the big old locomotive, the Phantom Locomotive.
Yeah.
Your last album.
Yeah.
Still doing well.
Devil You Know kind of took off a little bit, almost to like a year after it was released. It's weird with streaming now. It's not like physical media anymore. And out of nowhere, we got like 40,000 plays, just bam, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a biker playlist, like I think it was actually official Sons of Anarchy Spotify sort of thing, even though like the show is like over. Right.
Exactly.
But it did really well, which led to the album getting bunch more spins, a little bit more press. It was nice. Kind of a slow burn. Yeah. A slow train.
But the train's going to put on a few extra cars this weekend, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Friday night.
This is pretty exciting. I didn't really see this coming, but the musicians that played on Phantom Locomotive, and then Jeff, who I've been performing with for like 14, 15 years, we're going to have a new band together, and we're going to have a gig, which is pretty darn cool. So,
Friday night is part of First Friday, across the street from where we're recording.
Yeah.
We are at the R Wine Bar. If you hear the ambient noise, it's lovely because, it's kind of funny. I'll take a little sidetrack here.
Yeah.
For a long time, was recording elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And then kind of got kicked out of that place. Not by Wood Grain, but by the company that owns the building, saying, if you're going to be running a business here, you have to lease from us. It's like, I make $6 a week on this show. Come on.
Wonderful. Wow.
So was bemoaning that fact. Yeah. And Ricardo says, why don't you just record here? He says, we got the downstairs, we got the back room.
Yeah.
And he says, because usually on a Monday night, we're not that busy. And ever since he said that, he says, well, we got parties in both places tonight, so we'll just set up a table up where the band normally plays.
Dude, this is cool.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's really nice.
It's such a great local business.
Yeah.
And Ricardo knows how to run a place. That is for sure.
Absolutely. I actually designed the sign out front.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I knew that you had a signed business, but I didn't know that this was one of yours.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I'm really actually pretty proud of.
And you should be. It's a great logo too.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like I can't take credit for the logo or the wine stain, but as far as putting it together outside, it was a fun one. So
I can imagine.
One of my faves. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, see, now I've got extra reason to come here, and I say,
there we go.
And if somebody says, well, where it is, I said, well, look for a Matt D sign.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But you will be across the street. Friday night is part of First Friday. It'll be the block party going on.
Yeah.
And what time will you be on stage?
5:30 to 6:30 is the time they tell me.
All right. And does this new band have a name?
Right now we're just calling it Matt D. for
Okay.
lack of a better. I think it's coined as the roadside revival for this gig, but I don't know
Okay.
that we're married to any of that. We're kind of keeping it loose.
Yeah.
I've
Waiting to see if it grows into
well, I mean,
something,
I think it's officially something. We've had a bunch
Okay.
of rehearsals. We're working on a new album together, and it's all of us
Excellent.
again. And I actually convinced Mark Dom to be back in a band, so he's actually playing rhythm guitar.
Love it.
So, and he's quite the guitar player.
He's an amazing person. Isn't he?
is. Yeah, he's a
and
great guy.
one of my bottles of Jack Daniels actually lives out in his studio now.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yes.
you need to get out there soon.
I do.
Dave, because
Well, I got to know when you
it's-
guys
it's-
are out there.
It's dwindling.
well, I always have extras.
Yeah, well, sometime when we get close to the end of the album journey, we should probably have you out there.
I'd love it.
So yeah, it'd be
I would
really
love to
cool.
watch that process because
Yeah.
I've been there a few times.
Oh yeah.
I actually recorded some voiceover work there.
Oh nice.
I'm still waiting for Mark to get back on me. No,
Well,
actually,
yeah.
he's a little busy.
He is. I don't know if you've heard, but there's kind of a new record company kind of coming out.
Mhm.
Came out. The old one, it was an amicable type of thing, but it just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year. And then now it's kind of, the studio is kind of changing to where it's more geared just towards the artists on the label. So it's become semi-private. I don't know, kind of a weird transition, but glad to be a part of it. Glad to still be there. Glad to still be working there. It's Mark is world class.
That he is.
For just kind of being in the middle of nowhere up here and flyover country. It's
And
pretty
one
nice.
of the great things that I loved when I walked in, first thing he told me is, I still record analog too.
Oh yeah.
Everything comes in through the analog before it goes on the computer.
No, yeah, he's old school for
Yeah,
sure.
he is.
It's neat, and I think it helps it breathe. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool to be working with him.
All right, so is it still all going to be Matt D music then?
Oh yeah.
Are we going to hear anything that's new that's possibly on this upcoming album?
I think we're playing 3 or 4 new ones.
Okay.
We're gonna play a bunch off of Phantom Locomotive, and then I would even say there was some stuff from my older solo stuff, some stuff from Plank Road Drag.
Yeah.
And then from Holyoke.
Holyoke.
We have some other
Love
stuff on
Holyoke.
there. So
That's the first
some old-
purchase I made from you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And now you're kind enough to give them to me for free.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't bring anything with me tonight, but I don't have anything done yet. But yeah, we're doing like a song off of Holyoke, mostly Phantom stuff, but the newer stuff has been working out really cool.
Well, when you had first come out with Phantom Locomotive,
Yeah,
you were at a singer-songwriter event over at the Full Circle Book Co-op.
yeah,
I requested a particular song.
yeah.
You didn't sing that one
Which one was it? I don't
because you said, Dave, I'd need an entire band for that.
I would.
So
need it.
now,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, was it Queen of the Dead?
Yes.
Yeah, we're playing. That's on the set list.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's
I'm
there.
ready for it.
Yeah, you're gonna get the full on band experience.
Awesome.
So,
Look forward to that.
yeah, yeah.
What have you enjoyed about making this band after, you'd worked with him, obviously. You'd worked with Mark, and you've known what he's capable of from the engineering standpoint, also from the music. But then everybody else that had been on that album.
The weird thing I never met Jason Haven, the lead guitarist on Phantom, until our listening party. So we'd had a few messages back and forth, but really it was kind of Mark was kind of the go-between as the producer, So Mark interacted with him a bunch and would say, hey, I like this, but can we go with this? Can we do it this way? And so we didn't really have kind of a personal dynamic. But then now on this record, I have, been talking to him a little bit. And I said, I think it's fair with what you're bringing to the table that you get some writing credit on this, So I almost feel like I'm writing music with him now, and it's more personal.
Wow.
And so it feels like we're more of an actual thing. Scott and Jeff the same way. They come up with their parts, and there's just not a lot of. I would like to say it's hard work, and it is, because you want to land the right parts, but everything is just coming together so well that it's just a breeze working with these guys, but they're pros. It's nice to be the least talented guy in the band. That's what I feel.
And
like.
have your name up front.
Yeah,
well
I know.
done.
I mean, I don't know how I convinced them, but I'm gonna ride that train as long as I can.
Ride that
right?
phantom locomotive.
Yeah, I'm like, geez. And then one of these days they're gonna get a real singer.
It's good to hear you say that, because I know that we've talked in the past, and you are a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And when it comes to listening back, and you're like, oh no, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, and so forth. So for you to say everything's just coming together so well, that's a plus.
It's like a no-brainer. We start out with acoustic demos. Jeff then comes in, plays his drums, and we build from there and just kind of re-record everything. Acoustic, bass, lead guitar. And gosh, I think we're about 3 songs away from me starting on final vocals, which is really cool. We recorded Phantom Locomotive during the pandemic, so it was a little bit different, really closed off. With this, it just feels more like a group, and I feel like everybody's parts make a little bit more sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's more organic, and so I think everybody's getting a feel for each other. And I don't know, I just kind of like, it's nice being able to say to Jason, well, however you feel it, man, or Scott, hey, I'm thinking about re-recording this. I'd like to do it on a fretless. Well, hey, try it out, man. It's cool. It's a lot more. How can I say? I feel like it's more cohesive, but it's very nonchalant, and it's nice. I don't feel any stress. I'm not in a hurry. Maybe it's just getting older. I don't know.
That's part of it. I'll let you in on that, because we're aware of each other's ages.
Yeah. No, but
that does happen. You do get to mellow a little bit.
I think that's what it is. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like the world-class, free-for-all argument that Mark and I'll have sometime during Mixdown. Like, no, that can't be on there.
I hadn't heard that you'd had anything like that in the past.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Said Mr. Sarcasm.
Oh, man. No. Mark has been so great to work with, and I just can't believe that I'm recording there, really. I mean, I mean it. I don't know how fate brought Matt D to that studio,
Well, we're thankful it has.
Oh, yeah. I really think Mark is to thank for most of it. The band coming together and the success of the album. I mean, he was kind of the brains behind it. So it's pretty cool.
So working title on this next album? Anything?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
No.
How many tracks will there be?
Right now, 10.
Okay.
And I'm pretty stuck on that. I have a few tricks up my sleeve. If one of them doesn't work out, I've got like an alternate acoustic type something in the background. But 9 of them are going to be like full band, so like one acoustic and full on stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's kind of a marriage of older material. I'm one of those guys, if I'm not happy with it, I don't feel like the song's over, and there's some older stuff that I wanted to kind of change, but most of it's new, so stuff people haven't heard from before, and it's really coming together cool. A little harder edge than Phantom Locomotive.
Okay.
A little bit more of a rock and roll album.
Yeah.
Not a lot of fiddle, not a lot of mandolin.
Yeah.
I would say.
So you won that strings conversation this time?
I was hoping to avoid that. Like, we kind of played tag there for a minute.
That's the first thing that Mark Dum said about working with you.
I tell you what.
Give him crap about the strings.
Mark, if you're listening, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it so much. I'm not a big fan of like synth, and Jason had put some synth strings on a song, and it's so subtle that you can't hear it. But when I heard it, and I said, "Wait a minute, are those synthesizers on this song?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And I lost it, man. And then he lost it back, and we were just like screaming at each other. And he goes, "You know what? Just get out. Just get out of the studio. I don't want you here. Just go." I'm like, "So I'll see you tomorrow at noon?" He's like, "Yeah, have a good night." But yeah, that's music though. And he was right. I'm just gonna. There you go, Mark. You have it on recording.
Yes.
You were right.
We'll save it
I
for
was
posterity.
wrong. Yeah. There you go. But it all worked out. And I think that's the point in working with him for so long, is you learn to trust those people who are behind you, and sometimes they hear something that you don't hear, that maybe isn't the way you had it planned out, but I think a well-rounded creative person needs to be able to grow that way, and sometimes growing pains are hard. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
And how much have you grown then since you started? Because
boy, Mark has taught me a lot. He's really taught me a lot, and he's really patient. But he has very high expectations. I almost wonder if he is a little bit more quiet about it than I am.
Mm-hmm.
But he has very high expectations for what he records and puts his name on. And so knowing that, it's just, if you met the guy and you know the guy, just how lucky you are to be able to work with him in that capacity, in that studio, in that space, and have him mold these songs. Because really, I mean, that production part, that's the thankless stuff. He's there 3, 4, 5 hours a night mixing stuff, tweaking stuff. How can I make it sound better? How do I bring the vocals out? How do I bring the harmonies out? Should there be more guitar here? And then sending raw mixes to us that we all pick apart, which equals more time for him. So yeah, I think we kind of put him through hell, and he is kind of the magic man. So really,
but he comes out unscathed.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got really thick skin, and he's just a good guy. He's a workhorse, and he's just good at what he does. And one hell of a musician too. Good player, good songwriter. I mean, Search for George was a great band, and I think he's still a good writer.
Sweatshirts yet?
You do have one of his?
I have a Search for George sweatshirt,
awesome.
Hoodie even. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. No, and I enjoy working with someone who has had a career like that. Jason plays with Ron Keel. He plays electric guitar with him and does a great job with them. Doing that hard rock and southern rock. Scott plays with 100 Watt Shine and has probably played on too many albums for me to even mention. And he's just a consummate professional. To have somebody just kind of lay down a bass track, and it's just like, wow. And I've heard Jeff say, the thing about Scott is he makes my drums sound better.
Yeah.
It just works, and he's just,
right.
They're just solid guys. And Jeff is just like a machine. He records his drums by himself with no music to a click track. He writes the part off my demo, and then he doesn't have any music playing. He cues in just a click track, and he plays solo. He writes all the parts, and then we come in over the top. And when Mark saw that for the first time, he was like, "You've got to be kidding me! This isn't real. There's no way." And Mark's a drummer, so he's a good drummer too. And when Jeff laid down the first track, Mark comes out and he goes, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this," and shakes Jeff's hand. And Jeff was like, "I think that was at the moment that I knew Mark liked me a little bit."
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. But yeah, Jeff has been amazing to work with. But he's been there since the start. So
okay, so somebody that has been to a Matt D performance in the past, coming to see you on Friday night with a full band.
Yeah.
What one word you would use to say how it's going to be different?
A little more mature than maybe you've heard me.
Okay.
I kind of used to do a circuit preacher shtick. That's gone.
Little jump up on the stump.
Yeah, that's gone. And it was more for entertainment purposes, but you might hear one or two hallelujah, what's it to yous, but it's going to be a little bit more closer to the hip this go around. That was fun, and the Profane Saints were great, and I had some of the best memories of my life playing in that band. But this is something different. It's a new start. Yeah. So
if this is a start, where's it headed?
More shows, hopefully, and
any other gigs lined up at this point?
With the band.
With the band,
no, but we are working at it.
Okay.
Trying to get some opening slots, trying to put together a full show. I would actually like to have a CD release party with this band and a possible opening act. But definitely thinking about doing shows, doing appearances, doing gigs. This just happens to be the first one.
So what are we looking at in terms of a time frame? You said you were about 3 songs away.
Well, yeah.
Finishing.
So I've got like 2 bass tracks left, 3 electric guitars left, and then all the vocals for the whole thing. So I record scratch to keep everybody kind of working and moving forward. And once everything's done, then I go back and my vocals are the last thing. My vocals, the background vocals, and probably the part that Mark enjoys the least, which is, you know, working directly with me on vocals. Yeah, and one of those, the hard thing about vocals is when you go into the booth, some days you have it, some days you don't. Some days you nail it, other days you listen to it and you cringe and you have to go back, and Mark is very patient with me. So that'll be, for me, that'll be when the real work starts.
By the end of summer? Fall?
I would really like to have a single out and then the album out very shortly after, you know, by fall.
Okay.
But we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Not rushing it, not in a hurry. Mark is a busy guy. Band's
and you
full
don't
of
have
busy
to be
guys.
at this point either.
Yeah.
You know, you can still do your solo stuff in the meantime. And I've seen you've been playing back in the old hometown a lot. Down in Sioux City.
A little bit. I just had to actually cancel a couple gigs down there, and it's just more for personal reasons. Nothing. It's been a great venue down there, but yeah, I've got one coming up at Backspace Brewing in Yankton a week from Saturday. Really cool place down there if you like craft beer. Great people, fantastic people. Yankton's kind of like a nice little secret.
Very
neighbor.
few people talk about it, don't they?
Yankton's actually a cool town.
It's neat.
And they've got great signs.
Yeah.
Like, their old signs are killer. I don't know if you've been in that downtown area.
It's been a few years.
But
yeah.
oh my God, like, those signs are incredible. Like, I try to take pictures of them, but they're so bright that I can't, you know, get decent photographs. You can't get a good sign photograph with like a camera, phone. You know, it doesn't work out. You need a real photographer.
You got to have, you know, what to do with an f-stop and speed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, man, it's really nice people. Good, cool town. Kind of I don't know. There was a buffet down there that I used to eat at way back when that I thought was pretty cool.
And let's see, I think they've got some good sub places.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
There's a pizza place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like some really
of
cool.
Great local.
Yeah. Yeah.
Places
It's kind of like that classic little big town.
Yeah.
Yeah. But cool. And then, you know, Gavin's Point Dam and all that stuff down there. So got some stuff going there. But really just trying to focus on the band and getting some recording done and
we look forward to that.
Seeing what we can pull off.
Yeah, so we will look forward to the single and the album and so forth, but also immediately we look forward to Friday night.
Yeah.
5:30, 8th and Railroad Center. You'll be out in the parking lot.
I'm really excited. I'm actually a little nervous for this one.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I haven't been on stage with a band since 2019. 2018 maybe.
You'll get back in the groove.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I've got some good guys with me, so
True.
It's
they'll carry you.
I hope so. I told you, Dave. And you know, I shouldn't have to convince you. I am the least talented person in that group. One of these days, they're going to wake up and they'll be like, "We need a new singer." Yeah.
Okay. Word to those that have never heard Matt D before. He's full of crap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's very talented.
I've got you fooled, Dave.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
When you're not entertaining, what do you like to be entertained by?
Oh, what have I been watching lately? What is it called? Gotham Garage.
Gotham Garage. What's that on?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
And it's a team of like custom
chopper bikes?
Yeah, well, they're custom car guys and a gal. Okay. So they've got the body guy. They've got a guy named Caveman who rips the cars apart. Then they've got like a custom sheet metal guy, and he's amazing. And their mechanic is this beautiful girl named Constance Nunes. And they make some of the coolest cars. And Jen and I, my wife and I, Constance Nunes. You got to look her up.
Okay.
But and yeah, they just put together these cool little LA hot rods. So I've been watching stuff like that. You know, old noir.
Yeah.
I saw Doctor Strange. That was kind of cool. I don't know. I like Marvel movies, superhero movies, that kind of nerdy type stuff. Why not? You know.
Any other hobbies?
Gosh, if I had time for other hobbies.
Yeah. Well, if you had time, then let's do it that way. Because I know I ask that question quite often of artists, and they're usually too busy, and the music or the art or whatever it is their hobby. But if you had time for another hobby, what would you like?
Gosh, I'd travel a little more, and I'd get back into collecting comic books. I've got a huge comic book collection hidden away in my home.
Oh, I was going to say,
but
were they Do-Re-Mi?
I like, I like old Batmans, old Supermans.
Yeah.
I've got the original Watchmen series.
Incredible.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is I stumbled across this garage sale a few years back, and I got 300 issues of comics, and this guy's like, well, I said, well, how much do you want for them? He goes, I don't know, $40. And I was like, ho. And so, took them home and cataloged them, and it's incredible stuff, and just kind of happened into this collection. But I'd like to do it a little bit more seriously than I have. But and I'd like to read more.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm always on that one. I think I've only got 5 books under the belt so far for this year.
Wow.
I've got about 20 of them on a shelf waiting to be read, because when we go to estate sales and garage sales and so forth, Carrie is always looking for books. And
sweet.
Quite often I'm like, I haven't read that one by Stuart Wood, or I haven't read this one by, any other author that I normally read.
Yeah. I like the beat poets, Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah.
I really like him, and I really dig some of that noir Stephen King, the pulp stuff that he does. Not his horror stuff,
right?
But he kind of writes these crime novels that are just awesome. They're just like pulp paperbacks. I'd like to drink it on in. Why don't we have time to do that? That's what
Let's make it.
Maybe because I'm too busy watching Gotham Garage. I don't know. Maybe I need to read more.
All right. Matt D., my friend, always a pleasure.
Great
Thank
to
you
see
so much.
Man. Thank you very much.
And looking forward to Friday night in the great outdoors. Pretty decent weather forecast.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, what does pretty decent mean?
We're talking upper 80s, but...
So it's going to be warm.
It'll be warm.
Good.
But
come and see the long-haired Italian sweat.
Yeah.
There we go.
All righty. Appreciate it, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Sure, they have darts, and you've heard me talk about how ruggedly handsome the trivia host is, but all caps fun never stops at the Sky Lounge and Tea. And fun is best had with your friends enjoying live entertainment, as in live and local. Yeah, the Sky Lounge believes in giving you the best bands, solo artists, and comedians from the area. The Neo Johnsons, Elizabeth Hunstead, Skylar Volks, as well as many others. And a great staff will make sure you enjoy your fun at the Sky Lounge in Tea, South Dakota.
From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to a few great guests. Jayne Gearhart Fitzsimmons, very much looking forward to your show tonight for Bodkins Theatre at Falls Park. Tomorrow night won't be too far away from Falls Park, because we're going to go take in Matt D. Looking forward to hearing him with a full band. That's going to be at 8th and Railroad, by the way. Thanks to the man who put the R&R Wine Bar and Kitchen, Ricardo Terabelsi, where we recorded Matt D. By the way, it was a really fun time on Monday night. Ricardo was always so accommodating. If the usual spots where I end up recording aren't available, he'll make a spot. So we actually ended up sitting there chatting with a room full of people watching us as we were talking about his band on the spot where many bands play at R Wine. Also, thank you to all the great people, the great staff that they have down at The Source, where we happened to chat with Jayne. And of course, you, for the downloads, the shares, the likes, etc. If you haven't so far, Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get all 136 episodes online at DaveHollyHour.com. As Art South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by the Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moppet Entertainment. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, go to DaveHollyHour.com. At the bottom of the front page is the additional links section. Click on the orange button, Dave Holly on Linktree. You can order merchandise, become a Dave Holly Hour VIP, and make contributions to the show. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.